Welcome back. I hear echo. Welcome back.
Uh-oh.
Oh, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I am your host. This is the After Show, the Opperman Report After Show, brought to you by AftershowAudible.com, AftershowAudibleTrial.com, Opperman Report. Just joking about the After Show part. Go to audibletrial.com/Opperman Report, and you can get a free audiobook, okay? And it's the portion of the show. It's a little more relaxed. We take some calls. Have people call us up. We play it nice and cool. We enjoy ourselves and relax a bit, okay, and talk about different things. Okay, hey, my daughter here. My daughter's Vicky's here. She called in tonight to support her dad. And I just want to get into a little topic here about. By the way, the after show is carried on cjmarsradio.com. The after show is also carried on a rebroadcast on Para X Radio. And I believe it's also carried on WTRU radio, but we have to look into that because we're not too sure. Okay, so we have the 3-hour version, then we got the 2-hour version. Okay, so all the cool kids hang out for the 3-hour version. The other kids, the nerds, the ones who get the what are those, the wedgies and stuff like that, right? And the nuggies, they only do the 2-hour version. Okay, but now there's a lot of little stuff going on here behind the scenes because normally we're also broadcast on a third station, freedomslips.com, and that's the original station that I got started with, okay? So now I put out a little press release during the week to notify everybody of what's going on behind the scenes here. Now, that press release is available on my blog, The Opperman Report. It's also available. It's going to be. I sent it out to a press release service, to go out there to all the other shows and stuff like that, and all the other stations and all the listeners who Google, hey, where's the Opperman Report? They'll find this and they'll see what's going on. Now, it's called the Opperman Report: Apology and Policy Changes. Okay, now everyone's aware of this. So anybody tells you that they don't know that we had to make these changes during the week, this has been up since 4 or 5 days. It's been up for days, man, since Wednesday. That's 3 days. Okay, so this has been up and around. Everybody knows. I think everybody that knows me as well knows that I'm not the kind of person that's going to put up with the total unprofessional conduct. Okay, so I don't think there could be any doubt of what my decision would have been this week. And also, too, before we made this decision, we contacted everybody. We discussed it with the producers, with the sponsors, with some frequent callers, with my family, with different people, and we all came to this decision together that what we're going to do here is we're going to take the high road. We're going to work hard. We're going to build this thing up here, okay? Because we think there's value to it, and we think that you think there's value to it, okay? And we owe you from when you give us your support and your attention. I think we owe it to you to be professional and respectful to you, okay? Now, last week. I had on one of the most impressive guests I've ever met in my life. The guy, whatever you think of Henry Kissinger, this guy was a student of Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger was his college professor at Harvard. Then the guy was the head of the Harvard Law Review. Then the guy, shortly out of college, was arguing before the Supreme Court. The Watergate trial, the Pentagon Papers, the Silkwood case, this big case he's working on right now that we're working with him behind the scenes, helping out with these Lakota Native American tribes where they're kidnapping these kids and they're putting them in these institutions and feeding them drugs, and then the money's being filtered back to the Republicans. This is a real guest, man, guys. This is a real person who can make a difference in this world that we need to make friends with and help support and in turn get help and support back from. Just like Cynthia McKinney, congresswoman, presidential candidate. Okay, she comes on our show. She's teaching us. We're helping her. And then we become friends. And off the air, we stay in contact with each other, and we help each other out as we can, okay? So what we're trying to build something here that's real, that's credible, that's legitimate, that's honest, and that's professional. That's what we're trying to do here. Okay, so in the background, if we have problems with people heckling me all night long on Skype, continuously, like it's a big joke, like it's a game, and stuff that's gone on over the past year, I don't want to start ranting and raving, but there's been issues, okay, that I have tried to deal with professionally as best I can, okay? Now, the statement that I wrote up is this. Ed Opperman, host of the Opperman Report, and the Opperman Report family of producers, sponsors, and affiliated station owners would like to sincerely apologize to our Friday night guests, our listeners, our supporters, our family, and our friends. It's with great sadness that I must announce a policy change regarding the Friday evening broadcast of the Opperman Report. After 1 year on the air with freedomslips.com, we must drop that network from our lineup of stations that simulcast the Friday evening broadcast of the Opperman Report. Okay? We had no other choice. It's come to my attention that after the first portion of our Friday evening broadcast, my interview of a world-renowned civil rights attorney and political activist, the station owner of Revolution Radio, took to the airwaves in an incoherent, tirade-laced profanity, insults, and vulgar comments directed at me, okay, by the way, okay, but also to diminishing, disrespecting my audience, diminishing the quality of that program, insulting my guest, and didn't insult my guest, but it in effect insults the product that we put out for you, that we work for no, we're not making anything on this, man. My producers, Ann and Christoph and all these people, they're not making any money on this. It's Cindy Jean-Pierre, man, she's volunteering her time and effort helping me out tonight. This guy tonight, Scott Hare, tonight volunteering, helping out with his time. We're all putting this out together in an effort to build something, okay, progress, to make progress, success, and forward motion, okay? Not to get involved in a self-destructive spiral, okay, and destroying something that's created that's here, okay? Now, I apologize. I sincerely apologize that I ever allowed my show to be associated with such unprofessional behavior, and I will never allow any of my content to be aired on that station again. That's a final decision, okay? The Opperman Report will continue its Friday evening broadcast over CJMarsRadio.com, 365 Live, HazyRadio.com, and we're going to be adding several new networks to Friday night, okay, to make up for that the loss of listeners that we lost over there. I think we're going to take most of them with us, but we have, it's going to be a shot, okay, which is not the worst thing in the world either, by the way, okay, because we had a really rapid growth over the past year. So for us to take a little step back, okay, create a more technical and professional broadcast where we control all the content 100%, where we control all the commercials in the middle, like all that these promotional stuff like that. A lot of the stuff in the past has been less than professional, in my opinion. Okay, and it's been kind of wacky. Okay, and I don't want to come off wacky because already we're putting ourselves out here. Okay, and we're putting our reputations out on the line. And we're putting our efforts and our blood, sweat, and tears that we put out here every freaking week, guys, and we really do. And every one of us, man, everyone behind the scenes here, the sponsors, my family, my producers, the other station owners, we're all putting in 100% effort. This is not some game we're playing over here, okay? Beginning October 11, 2014, we're going to be adding a 3-hour Saturday evening broadcast on www.parax.com. at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, also, too, that gives us the option, too. Once we get our studio set up 100%, we can go on live Saturday night anytime we want for 3 hours, okay? For now, it's going to be a podcast. But we can go on there live anytime we want, okay? We just need to get set up for it. And there's very little bit of setting up to do, which is why I'm asking for a volunteer engineer out there that can help, who knows Sam Broadcasting, to help us out with all this kind of stuff to simulcast, because we can even simulcast on 10 stations Saturday night. We got a slot Saturday night, prime time, 3 hours, okay? It's a valuable slot on a big network, okay? They're going to be playing podcasts, but we have the opportunity to put out new content there anytime we want. Thursday nights on Shake and Wake. I went on there live last night. We can go on there now live anytime we want. So if we have a big guest booked for Friday, coming up, we have Catherine McDonald, Jeffrey McDonald's wife. We got these big shows on Fridays, right? But something comes up, like Ferguson, and we want to cover that story. We can do it either on Thursday or we can do it on Saturday. And we can put together a guest and bring on a guest and do a professional live show for you either on a Saturday or a Thursday, okay? That we can bring attention to a situation that needs attention. Like our friend here who's facing this trial, facing 20 years in prison, coming up on October 27th. Now, that's a real situation. That's something important, okay, that we need to support. Okay, it's not nonsense and foolishness in the background. Oh, hey, all this crap. I can move the clouds with my mind. All that kind of crap. Okay, we're leaving that behind. Now, we're also working to build up our Spreaker.com Opperman Report channel, okay? So all you people saying out there, hey, I didn't know what was going on. Well, I don't know what's going on. Go to Spreaker.com, follow the Opperman Report, and you'll get a notice when we're going live, okay? Also, go to the Opperman Report YouTube channel. You go there, and you subscribe to that, so you know what's going on when there's a new update, a new thing coming out. We're also going to be, we should be getting approved on iHeartRadio very shortly. And every other possible outlet, like I didn't even know. We're on iTunes, okay? I didn't know until Cindy Jean-Pierre told me. Hey, you're already on iTunes. I thought we were working on that, but that's something's already been done. Now, we hold no ill will or animosity to any station staff, or their hosts, leadership, producers, anybody, we're supporters that we're leaving behind. Okay, now we wish you all peace. You're in our prayers. I wish you well. I wish you great success. I want nothing but the best for you, okay? I don't want nothing from you. I don't owe you nothing. You don't owe me nothing, okay? Everybody, we move on, okay? Everybody's happy. We don't need to attack each other or criticize each other. I have nothing but great respect for everything that the hard work you're putting into your weekly shows over there. Fine, very good. God bless you. I wish you well, okay? Let's not cause any problems for each other. We'll go our separate ways. Everybody's cool. Now, this Friday evening policy has no effect on the rebroadcast during the week, okay? Firehorse Radio, Shake and Wake, Blog Talk Radio, Awake.us, Awake.uk, 1800 Radio, Shazazz, all these other stations, everything's the same with that for now, okay? We're probably going to bundle up everything as much as we can on Friday night. Okay, so we have that big presence Friday night like we used to have. Okay, and we're also going to try, we have some new stations too we're talking to all the time that want to carry us on Friday night. But it's scheduling. You have to ask them to move other hosts and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on in the background, a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Okay, but also too, there's a lot of other stations and networks that it previously did not want to carry our stuff because we had all that stuff, those commercials and breaks going on and those public service announcements going on during the week, that we no longer have that issue. So we can move on with that. So we're going to be seeing a lot of rapid growth here in the very near future. To continue this progress, we need sponsors. We need your support. We need your prayers. And we need callers and stuff like that. We need behind-the-scenes producers and behind-the-scenes assistants and stuff like that. And also, too, one of the big things we need is an engineer who can run SAM for us in the background, that all I have to do is Skype in, and even someone to handle these Skype calls and stuff like that, too. That would be great, if we could do that. And then me and the guests can just concentrate on putting the content out there. So now it's the goal of the Opperman Report to bring you honest, professional, respectable content each and every week, and we will only allow our broadcasts on stations that adhere to those same standards. This goes for everybody out there. We hold ourselves to the same standards we hold ourselves, and we hope this change is not too much of an inconvenience to our regular listeners. So all you got to do is just remember, bookmark us, hazyradio.com Friday nights, and cjmarsradio.com Friday nights, Spreaker channel, YouTube channel. Okay. That's my big announcement. It took me like 18 minutes, man, to make that friggin' announcement. Okay. But we got here my beautiful daughter, Victoria Opperman's here with us. We got Mike Gray. We got Ann Francis. We got Cindy Jean-Pierre. So who would like to say something?
Hi.
Hey, Vic.
You couldn't have made that any shorter.
You know what? Go to bed.
He had a lot to get off his chest.
Yeah. That was 14 minutes strong.
Vic, why don't you tell us what you have coming up on...
I don't know, because I haven't got Cindy's permission yet, so I don't want to be talking about it.
Well, let's work it out right now. Let's hash it out. So, Cindy, it's a big announcement. Victoria's working on a show that involves Taylor Swift, but it's during the week. It's on a Monday or a Tuesday. She needs to know if you can volunteer and produce for her. There you go.
Okay, because I know I told you Tuesday last time, and I didn't want to, keep going with it unless you're okay with Monday. Okay, I can reschedule it. What time is their show? 8 your time or 8 my time? Okay.
It's 5 our time.
5? Okay. Is it Like an hour, 2 hours?
Okay, we'll work on that. We'll work on it during.
Okay.
And if Cindy can't help out, man, we'll figure something out. I promise you. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I can always do YouTube. We're planning to do YouTube anyways.
There you go. So now we have Christian Wallace has joined us. It's a free for all tonight. We can talk about whatever we want.
Hey, what's up, Ed?
Hey, dude, what's going on?
No, I was just listening to, that was very eloquent.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, you should have heard the first version.
Yeah, you took the high road, Ed.
Yeah.
Road, Ed.
Should have heard the first version, guys. Okay. But we've calmed down, you know, and I think it's going to be a good move for everybody involved. I think we'll move on,
Upwards.
Onwards and upwards, right?
Yep.
And God bless everybody.
That's right.
Everyone. So, Chris, who do you have coming up on your show Wednesday?
Oh, that's a good question. As always, I kind of fly by the seat of my pants because my guests, they like to come on with 5 minutes left to spare. So I'm not going to tease next week's show yet. I have some interesting prospects, let's say.
Okay.
It'll be good, though. It'll be good.
Vic, who do you have coming up next week?
I know about this week we had on Councilman Bob Beers. That's coming out Saturday.
And what's the story with this corrupt politician?
Oh.
No. Bob Beers is our buddy. We like him. Good.
No, yeah. Bob Beers was very nice. During the interview, we did find out that he did switch sides on a stadium debate that we're having here in Nevada. So that was kind of interesting to find out. And we just talked about that. And then I think we talked about, stray dogs and marijuana.
Really?
Nice.
How much does he charge?
Oh. To look the other way?
Wait, Victoria, did he try and give you marijuana? Is that what happened?
No.
Then what were you talking about marijuana with this grown man about? Well, tell us. What was going on with Councilman Bob Beers? No,
Because,
honestly,
it's an issue here if they're going to legalize it.
the legalization of marijuana. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he didn't offer you marijuana or anything.
No.
Okay, good. Okay, that's good. No, Bob Beers is a friend of ours. He's a friend of the show,
Yeah.
and he's a local politician here. And we're going to be building a big stadium here, a soccer stadium, downtown. And I'm
Soccer Sispitic Stadium.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, only soccer.
Mm-hmm. Only
Yeah.
soccer, only football. No concerts.
That's a shame.
Maybe a convention.
I give it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, Ed, how are you guys on water? Because, they're saying that California's in a drought and... Yeah, right?
what? No, we got a big drought here. Sure, there's a big drought, and all our water comes from Lake Mead, and that comes from the Colorado River. So when there has to be a big snowfall in Colorado on a certain side of the mountain, I always forget the western side or the eastern side, whatever it is, and there's a certain little spot where it has to snow in Colorado for us to get water here, and it's all diverted all over the place, but it's all weird. They have these water deals that go back to the 1800s. The water's diverted around here. But yeah, the lake is really, really, really down. Vic can tell you, man, when we were little, we used to go hiking at Callaville Trail, right? And remember how we used to, and now it's so bad that when you go in, try and go into the water, you're sinking in the silch because it's from 30 years, 40 years of being in that deep in the water. It's all silch. Yeah. So your feet sink in there, so you can't even, you have to go.
Plus the hike's longer now. Because you're going through,
right.
this massive part of land that used to be deep in water.
Yeah. Yeah, so water is a problem out here for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. But the guest, sorry, it slipped my mind. But the Mormon, when you guys were talking about the Mormons before,
yeah,
it made me think of it. Howard Hughes, before when he got older and sort of dropped out of the public view, he kind of surrounded himself with Mormons, and they called it the Mormon Mafia. Well, this guy wrote a book, and it's kind of about these last years of his, where he actually, I kind of want to tease it a little bit, but he actually survived and that guy that they said was, with the long fingernails and
Yeah.
the elusive one was really not him. And he was actually, well, I don't want to give the whole thing away, but that's just a little tease for it. So,
Yeah, I've heard those stories as well. Wait, you're having the author of that book on?
yeah, there's two guys though, so that's what the issue is. And
Okay.
yeah, so I'm going to do the best to get the main guy that wrote it, and one guy knew the wife because he got remarried, and he married once for expediency, for his money to keep it protected, and the other second marriage he was under an alias, and what happened was the one author met the woman, and the other guy went and sort of confirmed all of the story and got evidence and documents to sort of back it up. So if you don't have both of them together, it would be good to have one, but it'd be great to have both. So that's the issue.
I got you. Yeah, I looked up those some of those books and those authors. I never actually. I want to do a Howard Hughes show myself.
Well, it's so awesome because people like, this, especially this generation, I'm speaking for mine, but your generation can really appreciate it because there'll never be another Howard Hughes. There'll never be another time like that in this country where a guy can run a Hollywood studio, fly the spy planes, date Hollywood actresses, be, this dashing, dapper, the richest man in the world. He was literally like
He's a Renaissance man. Yeah.
Right, and he was really smart. And all
CIA.
Yep, CIA, and all of the. Yep, and all of the great comic book heroes like Tony Stark's dad and Batman, Bruce Wayne. They're all just based on Howard Hughes. That's who they're knockoffs of. They're alter egos. They're these rich guys that behind the scenes are doing like this, adventurous stuff.
Did you ever see the movie The Amazing Howard Hughes with James Brolin?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one I saw when I was a kid. Now, in fact, I taped that movie and I watched it 100 times. Now, when I first came out here to Vegas, my friend from Staten Island came out here first, and he was involved in a lot of stuff. And so he took me around to meet people here in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And one of the people he took me to meet was Bob Mayhew. Yeah, I know. Who wrote that book? That was the story of Bob Mayhew, who was the FBI guy and CIA guy who was working for Howard Hughes. So when I met him at the time, the only thing I knew about him was the Howard Hughes movie.
Right.
So we talked about that. I've since found out. In fact, matter of fact, when we had our guest the other day, Daniel Sheehan, he tells the whole story about how much Bob Mayhew has been involved in everything: Bay of Pigs, Watergate, and even the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, all those guys. That's
right.
They link up. And Hughes, what happened was he was a supporter of Nixon and the Republican Party. And when that happened, he was so pissed. He kind of I don't want to give too much of it away because it literally connects. He connected to everything. He was involved with everything. And I'm talking about going all the way from propellered, powered aircraft, the jet powered aircrafts, all the way into aerospace. And he really was this innovator. And in that crash that he had in the XF-11 in Beverly Hills, they recreated in the movie The Aviator. It was exactly like that. He just went down and went through these people's house and burned up half of his body. His heart got shifted over to the side of his just it's amazing that he survived because the bones were just shattered. And that's when he redesigned the hospital bed.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And also development out here in Vegas. The Howard Hughes, the whole.
Yeah, Vegas. He was like the first guy to start buying up all the property there.
And built. Summerlin was built by Hughes. Like the whole. Vic. Summerlin, right? Vic.
She might be muted.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That whole town was designed and built by Howard Hughes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, huge Hughes Corporation.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, no, I'm sorry. I thought you were done, but I didn't mean to talk over you. But the funny thing was, like, like in the first Batman movie with Christian Bale, the new ones,
Yeah.
he goes, oh, you're not allowed to have your guests swim in the fountain, and they're misbehaving, and he goes, oh yeah, well, I'm just going to write a check and buy the place. Hughes did that at one of his, he was staying at a hotel, and they said, you've been here for a long time. We need to get this other person in. It was somebody from overseas, some dignitary, and he was just like, oh, I don't think so. I'll just write a check and now I own it. Like he was like that. He really crazy. I mean, just it could be like 6 shows.
What about the story? The lights from across the way in this other casino bugged him, so we asked the manager, "Hey, could you shut those lights off?" And the guy said no, so he bought that hotel.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's how he was.
Well, also too that what happened is that he was watching the TV station KLS TV, right?
Yeah, and he wanted to see. Yeah, tell the story.
No, not that. He was and the dating game came on, and it was a black and white. It was an interracial couple. And he flipped out. He bought the TV station. He says, "I don't have it. That goes off the TV right now." So that's some kind of But that's also you hear stories, man, out here too around that time.
Right.
of Elvis, on the Strip and Frank Sinatra on the Strip and stuff that that went on that just they got away with, and
Well, Elvis, when he collected all the different badges and stuff, and he was pulling over people, and
right.
he wanted to have that whole badge collection. That's funny because you can picture him in his cape, loaded, stopping planes and pulling out federal agent badges and just all kinds of. I mean, can you picture Elvis in his later years? Running after, chasing people down, and getting pulled over by Elvis and the Memphis Mafia.
Yeah.
So that's where my dad's from. So I got tons of. They used to see him all the time driving in his Cadillacs and stuff when he was younger.
Yeah, I went to Graceland. We went to Graceland on our honeymoon, and it's funny because inside.
Yeah, my parents went on their honeymoon.
Yeah, we drove cross country, so we stopped off there, and it's funny because they have this little tiny room that they call Elvis's shooting range.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a tiny little shed. It's really tiny, and I cannot imagine that if you were to shoot a gun in that thing, the bullets would be ricocheting and bouncing all over the place.
Right.
Like the guy had to be like totally out of his mind, and they still had the bullet. You could see the bullet holes on the walls and stuff. So the guy was in there shooting around.
Not that big of a house, right?
The house isn't really. No, it's a cool house for sure. But it's not as big as you would think.
Yeah.
Not a great neighborhood now at all either.
And my dad was like, yeah, that's what he said. He was like, it was so garish, and it's like this, like, it's kind of, the novelty of it for the fans is the big deal. But, the taste that he had was sort of like, real hillbilly, chic.
Yeah.
When he bought friends Cadillacs and stuff, and there was the whole thing with the Colonel, and I mean, he wore a purple cape. By the end of his career, he was just out of his mind. But the stuff with Hughes, some of the things that guy did, and just buying buildings, buying stations because he wanted to see them. Then he was infatuated with he had a type of woman in Elizabeth Taylor, and he offered her $1 million, her parents, to marry her, and she said no, and they said no, like he thought he could buy her hand in marriage. And the other thing that he was amazing that he invented was the bra, the one that
right.
Yeah, so he was a real interesting individual, and this guy has a lot of. I knew when I saw that movie, I was like, he had to have lived longer than that, and he was mentally, he had issues, but not the kind that they portray. He did have problems in crowds. See, I'm giving away the whole show, but
Well, you talk to these guys off the air?
Well, no, I started. I always liked I always liked the idea, of the Howard Hughes and the, in his younger years, and then I always thought it was so sad that he degenerated into that. And I was like, well, I want to look behind the scenes as much as I can, so I did as much research on it as I could. But I'm in the process of sort of, exchanging emails and things, trying to coordinate a little bit. Yeah,
I definitely want to do a Howard Hughes show as well.
You should, because you're in the area.
That's true too. Yeah, we have a guy here. I'm in touch with Brad Lewis, who wrote the book about Mickey Cohen, how Mickey Cohen built Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a hold of him at first because I tried to get him to do a show about Anthony Pellicano, because he, but now he doesn't even want to touch Pellicano, And so he says, "Oh yeah, I'll do the Mickey Cohen story." So then I went back to him, and now he hasn't gone back to me either. It's kind of, but I think a lot of that too, by the way. It's because I think when people check me out, they would tune into that now the station that shall not be named, the name we shall not speak, and I think that they heard all that craziness that was going on over there, man, and they kind of blew me off after that because a lot of people who agreed to do our show originally, something happened, and then we couldn't get them anymore. So
sorry, I was just
that's okay.
No, I was writing about Jeffrey Dodd, the dude, and I accidentally wrote something about Jews.
Oh my god!
I don't know. That was dude.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry. Yeah, hey, the guest the guest you had on last night.
Yeah.
Will he be back again? The Black Colts.
Oh yeah.
What was his name? I never did.
Joe DeToma. Add him on Facebook. Yeah. He's very available. And
really? Okay, yeah.
Oh no, he's a super cool guy. I think he found me, at first, and then he sent me his book, and we're just all into the same stuff,
I couldn't believe he was getting into the archons,
No.
You don't agree with that? Well,
wait, who was? I missed that.
We did a show last night on Shake and Wake.
Oh.
A live show, yeah.
Yeah.
And the recording will be going up shortly. If we ever get it.
Even the after show?
The after show, yeah.
Right.
The 3 hours. We got 3 hours out of them, okay?
Right.
Which is, listen, give me 3 hours, I'm happy. Okay.
Right.
I got to, a lot of guys want 3 hours now.
Will that be happening again?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, listen, I go on, I've been interviewed by them for years. They're, cool, fun people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you just got to take it for what it is and go with it, and it's just a different atmosphere.
Right.
And it's not my show. It's last night was my show, but when I'm interviewed by them, it's not my show.
Oh, you mean that show last night wasn't your show?
No, that show last night was my show, but normally they interview me. So who's
That's
laughing?
what I'm saying. In other words, okay, all right.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make waves. All
Vic's on their station too.
Hi, Vic.
Hi.
So Vic, what else is going on? What's going on with the Taylor Swift show?
Besides
Taylor Swift show. Okay. We emailed. If you don't know, we're having a 1989 live stream party. Basically, her new album's coming out. So I've contacted people who have met her through secret sessions, basically where they get to listen to the album before. And a lot of people said they'll come on. I have a group of friends at school who said they're gonna come and co-host with me, so they're gonna be fun. And we're trying to get Taylor on. I emailed her record label, and I haven't got a response, obviously. So I'm gonna probably call them tomorrow or Monday, because business hours. But yeah.
Monday's a holiday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait, Monday's a holiday? What is it?
Columbus Day.
Hey, Vic, no school Monday?
I think, no, we still have school Monday.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you should have said no.
Yeah, I know, right? Such a good kid, man.
I have a science test.
Vic is the best student, man, you guys could ever imagine. This kid is so you're good at school, man. It's not even funny. Yeah.
It was 2, but I skipped occasionally.
Okay. Well, not me. I went every day.
I'm joking.
No, you didn't.
Oh, you kidding me? And you know what I would do too? I would bring the teacher an apple every
No,
single
you
time
didn't.
I went to school.
On the weekend. You actually went on the weekends and cleaned the school.
That's right. And I did extra credit in school, and I wore a tie every day. I did wear a tie in grammar school. I wore a tie.
Yeah, that was the hard dress uniform. Mm-hmm.
And then you moved on to bow ties.
And my 8th grade school picture, I was wearing a bow tie.
Did you tie one? Or was it a clip?
Yeah, we should post that, right? With Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, that was the style back in those. It was like 78, So
It still kind of is. Maybe if you can pull it off, maybe a small one.
no, this was a big,
Yeah, that's what I
giant
pictured.
prototype.
Oh, nice
yeah.
bow. Nice big bow.
Like a Sanders.
Yeah, but they had the big flare, pants back in those days, and the marshmallow
Right.
shoes and all that stuff like that.
Dude, I tried to bring that back. I wore polyesters in high school. I was trying to bring it back as much as I could possibly done, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, I hear you.
Bell bottoms had their day, and they just ended.
Yeah, Vic has a great style. You just took your school pitch, right, Vic?
Yeah, and it looks horrible.
Yeah.
That's what we all think when we take them.
Yeah, I know. My daughter's so beautiful. Forget it.
But I mean, like, it's all because we only got like a student ID, and it's all like pixelized and stuff.
Why do you need a student ID?
We don't.
I know. Every teacher knows every kid there, right? It's not like...
Yeah, I think it's the kind of thing where usually schools use it for like games and stuff.
Gangs?
Games.
Games? Okay, good.
Yeah, like if you went to like another school's game.
Okay.
No, and in this day and age, Victoria, with your what do you call it, Instagrams, and I'm a little bit lame when it comes to those. You got Instagrams, you got Twitters, you got all these things with pictures sending each other all the time. Like, is it even that big of a deal to finally have your picture, in the what
yearbook? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's
I
true.
mean, like, pictures are so all over the place now.
It totally is, because this is
that's
like,
right. Who cares? Yeah.
Because you can take a good selfie. Anyone can take a good selfie, because you can Photoshop it and you can put filters on it. But you can't filter and Photoshop your own yearbook picture.
Right.
So you kind of know who's like faking it based off the yearbook picture.
The yearbook picture doesn't lie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what's so weird about today in Victoria's, in this age now, with Victoria going to school? You do something at school, chances are someone's got a camera and they filmed it and they could post it on social media like Facebook and then that thing just haunts you if it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and what is the policy at schools with cell phones? They I can't even imagine having a cell phone at school at my age. Back then.
I know, man. I mean, the stuff I did, man. If that was caught on film, oh my God.
Seriously.
Well, they let us you can bring your phone, but if it goes off or if you're using it, they take it away.
But can you just text in class?
No.
So they're just they allow them, but they're not encouraged until you're in between classes?
No, we're not allowed to use them on campus.
Either, yeah.
Oh, so you just can have them, but not really use them.
Yeah, you can use them if the teacher gives you permission,
Mm-hmm.
In yearbook, we're allowed to use our phones and stuff, and in computers, not computers, in music, I was allowed to last year.
Mm-hmm.
But you're really not supposed to have your phone out. If a dean or whatever sees you with your phone out, they'll take it away.
It was a big deal to be allowed to wear baseball caps at our school for 1 year, and then they were like, we ain't having any more of that. That's too individual.
Yeah, we're still not allowed to do that.
No.
Yeah.
Because she has to wear uniforms. But when I was in school, and I started high school in 1976, we had a smoking room. In the lunchroom, there was a special room you could go into and smoke cigarettes.
For kids?
Yeah. And you weren't allowed to go as a freshman, but you could sneak in. You weren't allowed to go there to a sophomore or something like that. But then
if you're 18, and in high school, 18-year-olds, so you can smoke at that age.
No, but this was way before 18. 15, But not only that, too, but also, too, you got to remember, too, because when I was 16, the drinking age was 18.
Right.
Okay, not 21.
Right.
So when we were 16, we would go to the bar for lunch.
That's funny.
I know.
Did they have a cigarette machine at the school?
No, I don't think they had a cigarette machine at the school. No, but you had to bring your own cigarettes. But we would play poker too. We would gamble. In the smoking room. And it's just kind of they just let us do it, man. But the funny thing I always tell Vic about is when we would go to lunch, we would leave the school. You're not even allowed to leave the school for lunch.
Right.
But we would leave, go to the bar, have hamburgers and beer, and then even like if it was our birthday, we would have shots, We'd have shots
in high school.
Yeah, man. That's what I said. And they all knew we weren't 18 yet because we were having our 15th or 16th birthday, and they knew that. But back in those days, yeah, you could do that because the drinking age was 18, so you could drink at 16. You could sneak into the bars because they didn't have all this ID stuff back in those days. No one had ID at 17.
You used to be able to get away with a lot of stuff back in the 70s.
Oh, forget it, man! It was a whole different world.
Yeah.
Get away with nothing. It was
You ever have any people in high school that they were like a senior 3 times? So by the time they were like 21, 22 and still being in school.
Yeah, we had that for sure. Yeah,
that's sad, man.
It happens now still. And the problem is that now when they have sex with the teachers, unfortunately that goes on. The teachers are not that much older because, they're maybe 25, 26. And then they say, well, how is this bad? Because it would be one thing if it was a teenager, but the kid's 22 and the teacher's 20,
There's got to be a limit. After 18, 19, you cannot be in the school like that.
Right.
Well, you know what? It's interesting, too, because at my high school, the school security guard started off when he was only 19 years old. So he was a guy I knew from the neighborhood,
Oh.
Yeah, and he was the school guard, suddenly, and this guy wasn't telling me what to do anything, for sure.
Did he have a gun near his, they always, all the school security guards that I always knew, always had a gun on their ankle.
No guns back then. I don't think there are a lot of guns now.
I just remember seeing, because I went to public school, private school, I got bounced around a lot. And I think it was three or four different schools I actually walked up. Maybe they were carrying concealed surreptitiously without the school knowing.
Oh, that would have to be, yeah.
Yeah, and I just sort of caught it out of the corner of my eye, and then they sort of went like, shh. But it might not have been, I don't think it was official school policy. But I don't know, because like I said, I bounced around a lot.
Yeah, Vic, can you imagine anybody in your school like smoking, like having a smoking room? Yeah.
It's so different now. It's
there
not
was
even
this one guy that, like a high schooler I saw one time, and he was like obviously high.
Yeah, but it's not cool to smoke cigarettes anymore, is it?
Definitely not, no.
No.
Look down on that, like, that's so...
Okay, we got a question from the chat room, from Nikki. And she's asking, I don't know if Ed is taking questions. Well, the answer is yes. But I've just found out something on Joe DeToma's Facebook page. It says the Process Church is now called the Best Friends Animal Shelter. WTF! Exclamation. In order to procure dogs for satanic rituals. Does anyone know about this? Yes. You want to know something else? Nikki from the chat room? The last remnants of the original Process guys went to Utah and they started that group, the Best Friends for Animal Shelter. And it's a nationwide chain right now, right? And they do run this animal shelter, right? Guess how much money they have in their war chest? Over $40 million.
Oh, I believe it.
Who's this now?
The Process Church of the Final Judgment.
Yeah, they're big.
They went on to form an animal shelter in Utah. The base was in Utah. They're all living in Utah, this bunch. And they all, they got donations, and it's a nationwide thing going on now with this animal shelter, the Friends of, what's it called, the Best Friends of Animal Shelter, and it's huge, and they have a $40 million budget.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. So now, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, even Manson, who was, an offshoot, has Atwa, and he says that it's, air, trees, water, right? Yeah. But really, it's all the way alive. And, he tries to push that same thing with the loving the, the earth and all the living things. And the hippies fall for it. his supporters.
The thing is I think that the reason why these guys went and built it, because the process church started out, they were in New York City with the Son of Sam murders, and they were sacrificing dogs. Okay,
Right.
They were sacrificing dogs right next to my friend's house in Staten Island. Okay, and then when they called the police about this, the cops said they were sacrificing dogs, chickens, and stuff like that. Fire. They call the cops. And the cop says, well, maybe they're having barbecues. Okay? And they did nothing. And they says, you know what? They have a right to come out here and worship Satan and worship the devil and do what they want to do there. And as far as these bones, and animal bones and dead animals out there, maybe they're having barbecues. So I think that they have this dog, rescue dog thing going out there because they're still sacrificing animals to a point, but I think they're still sacrificing people as well.
Well,
The dog people are the easiest to trick.
That's so true, man.
Yeah, that Sarah McLachlan commercial. Whenever it comes on, that's like.
Go ahead, Vic. Cue.
What?
You want to sing that song for us?
Oh.
The
arms of an angel.
That's like torturous when that comes on because it just like captivates you and it makes you so sad. They show the dogs just so their eyes are so big. It's like.
Well, Vic and her friends, they did a school project about Ebola, and they put that song in there. These kids are so talented, man. It's not even funny.
Yeah, we were like, Ebola's not going to spread to America.
They got them in their hazmat suits walking around on the airplanes now. They're really pushing. I went to the my local pharmacy today, and every single every corridor has not just a flu shot, but a high test intensity flu shot and a pneumonia shot, and everything that runs over the intercom, it just cut. They usually run like crappy music. They just cutting in with get your flu shot, inquire about your flu shot, and every single person was getting them, just lining up and saying, and then they're saying they're free with your new insurance, and they were literally the older people. Sorry, I had dental work done today. Were saying, "Oh, God bless you, thank you so much," thinking that they were doing a good thing for them and that it was free. And
wow.
It just, I don't know, it just bothered me because they pushed it so hard. I mean,
Didn't they ever listen to Hansel and Gretel,
Right. It's just like you can trick people into, if you use the word free and then they suggestively sell things, which, they do that everywhere. They, instead of like a waiter when you go to a restaurant, instead of saying, what can I get for you? Say, can I start you with a soda or a coffee? They suggest it when they were ringing up their other prescriptions. They were saying, would you like to get a flu shot with that? They push it in a way.
I like how they're calling it Ebola.
Yeah.
Because of Obama?
Yeah, they're calling it Ebola. And now
Uh,
Jesse Jackson, and they're saying that's racist.
Well, that's what he does.
You got to ask yourself, the CDC, they ask them, well, why don't you close down, air travel to those Western African countries so people from Liberia and, those countries affected can't come here? Oh, that'll make it worse. How will that make it worse?
Right.
Well, something, our friend, Reverend R.J. Knight, you guys know that I was with the tent ministry in Maine, with the Gospel Tent Ministries with, Reverend Knight. And we're longtime friends before Victoria was born. And he goes to Liberia, and he knows the president of Liberia. So when he goes to Liberia, he meets with the president of Liberia. So we can definitely get the president of Liberia on here to tell us what's really going on without this filter of the news media, if we have to. And that's one of the things we can do now that we have with all this opportunity to go on Saturday night whenever we want, or to go on Thursday, and even with Rick and Annie, okay, we can go on there Hey, man, the president of Liberia on Rick and Annie, and Rick can ask any question he wants of the president of Liberia.
What?
Yes, I am authorizing this. I am allowing Rick to ask questions to the president of Liberia.
Listen, Dad.
What? Go to your room.
I'm in my room.
Okay, well, okay. But
You know who John Rappaport is?
I've heard the name. Yeah, who is it?
Yeah, he writes articles on WDM, I think. He was on Conspiracy. I was looking on Conspiracy One. He had an article saying that.
Well, he's dead, right? He died and he killed himself?
No, John Rappaport.
Okay.
He's a
No, that was Rupert.
Okay.
Yeah, he wrote an article saying that he doesn't think this is Ebola, that it's something else, that it's weaponized because it doesn't look like Ebola.
Right.
You know, true Ebola is like you're bleeding out of your eyes, your ears, your nose, everything.
Yeah, you just bleed out into soup.
You just hemorrhagic. You know, you just completely bleed out. And,
I would say this, that everybody needs to step back a bit, you know, and, use their best judgment and to be twice as skeptical, you know, as anything that's out there. And if anything's coming out of this, what I think it is that to make more of a hassle for us traveling through the airports.
Right.
The new reason why it's a hassle to travel through the airport is for Ebola. You know, not that there's going to be vaccines and masks, you know, and FEMA camps and all stuff. Let's relax a bit, you know, step back,
Definitely.
you know. Right. What do you think, Vic? Vic?
I think that if it's an actual problem in Africa, because it's not an actual problem in the U.S., let's stop focusing about ourselves, you know, and what's happening here, which is very minor. Like, there's only like 45 people they're saying apparently have it.
Well, no, it's only a few people that we specifically flew in with it.
Exactly.
It's not like it got here by accident. We brought it here, you know.
well, no, that's what I'm saying. They're letting in people from that country to visit here that could potentially have it, and they're not being screened.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, like, do you think everyone here is going to catch it? That it's going to be that big of a problem?
Yeah, when
No,
even there, it's not that big of a problem.
Exactly. So, like, let's focus on them, you know?
You know, here we have medicine and stuff like that. In Liberia, they have nothing.
Like, you have anyone, I know you guys aren't, there's a bunch of John Green videos where he went to someplace in Africa.
Yeah.
And their hospitals are so tiny.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that, like, of course, you know, this is something that's spreading over there because they don't have the right care for it.
Their hospitals are the size of Elvis's shooting range.
Yeah.
you know, as a fact, I think they have the same bullet holes.
Yeah.
Right.
See, the only one who gets my joke is Vic, right?
Yeah.
You know, isn't that scary, Vic, man?
You definitely don't. You definitely
That
don't want to
hurts when
get sick
I
in
laugh.
Africa. You know.
Oh.
Like, I mean, let's help the people who are actually going through this. Let's take a step back and know that we don't need all these shots, you know?
Yeah, right.
And if someone catches it, someone catches it. They get treated, then they're fine, you know? There's obviously a cure for this. It's been going on for a really long time, as far as I know.
No, wait a second. I don't know if there is a cure. Chris
Yeah,
Wallace, you're in the medical field. There's a cure?
They're experimenting for cures.
Okay.
But this has been going on since, like, the 1900s.
A lady said she cured herself with vitamin C, massive doses of vitamin C.
Yeah.
I heard that one person was cured by using essentially oils from Tammy.
That's right.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes?
Well, we can't say that. No, wait, that's illegal to say.
I said I heard it. I could have been a crazy person who said it. I heard
But
this.
you know, Ed, the body cures itself.
Oh,
did you know that?
Definitely.
I did not know that.
The body cures itself.
Does it?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
okay.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Well,
So no medicine cures you.
I
Or-
once shot a man in the body. I did not see him cure himself.
You shot somebody?
No,
Really?
of course
Hey,
not.
Dad, don't admit anything on the radio.
Don't confess anything.
Well, with your past, you never know.
You never know. My past
Yeah,
or
right.
future. No, I shot because I'm a time traveler, and I shot them in the future. Me and Vic, right? One time we were at the Disneyland on New Year's Eve, and we wanted to walk up to people and say, "This is such a wonderful place. We are from your future." This is so incredible. We are from your future.
You have to be in
We
Tomorrowland.
need to do that one day.
You have to do it. And now you're older. Now you're older. You can pull it off with me, man.
Yeah.
I know.
You should.
We should is right.
You'd be like, what Transformers movie are they at?
We should go to like dressed in like weird outfits too, you know? It's, oh my goodness, this is so wonderful.
Like matching unitard style Star Trek one.
Nah, it doesn't have to be like that. It could just be a, you know. You don't want to be too obvious. Anyway, we're coming to the end of our first hour of the after show. If the guys want to hang out, we can hang out. Maybe we can get Ann to say something. She's sitting there quietly, not saying anything. But the show is brought to you by Audible.com. 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 Get a free audiobook. You go to Audible.com and you get a free audiobook. You mentioned Opperman Report. And all our other sponsors, our wonderful sponsors that we have, like Pacific West Bamboo. If you're 503-839-8126, Dem Roots at oppermill.com. All kinds of wonderful products. If you need bamboo for any kind of thing going on there. Good old, we got Mike Ray here in the flesh.
Hi, Ed.
Check out Infinity Home Plans and Design Services, your resource for 3D and 2D digital draftsman services. They offer a multitude of products, including stock home plans, 2D digital drawing sets, 3D models, and renderings, and more.
Absolutely.
InfinityHomeplans.com. Mike, do you want to give out a phone number and an email where people can get a hold of you? Or you're still in hiding? Are you still in hiding, Mike?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, everything's on InfinityHomeplans.com, but my number is 321-437-5655.
There you go. Repeat that, please.
That's 321. I hope lunatics don't call me.
Don't worry.
That's 321-437-5655. And Ed, can I add something?
Go ahead.
I also sell something called Top Notch, which is it's a starter kit for businesses. Like if you want to go into the drafting business, I basically can set it up to where I sell all my, construction details and blocks and drawings and some stock plans to get anyone who wants to start a drafting business going.
Well, what the hell, man, Mike? You should have told us this sooner.
Yeah.
Okay. Send us some new copy, man.
I'll
add a copy. You only email me 25 times a day.
No, I've stopped that, Ed. I've stopped that.
No, you didn't, Mike. You can include that in the emails, okay, man? I got to tell you something. My AOL account is so full of unread emails that my AOL account, I can't even open it up anymore and read it. So I'm going through there deleting. Delete. Mike Gray. Okay, right, man, dude. I've been thinking about you, Mike Gray, 24 hours a day since I've been trying to fix this email problem.
I
love him.
These are your first world.
Are you saying, Ed? Are you saying I clogged your email?
Yes, I am saying that you are NSA. you are a plant here to the Opperman Report.
NSA? Are you
kidding me?
Okay.
But he sends great links to stuff too.
InfinityHomeplans.com and NSA Infiltrator.
I'm trying.
MikeGray.com. Emailrevealer.com. Okay, listen, you want some real action going on in your life? Go to emailrevealer.com. We can trace people down. We can track them down. If they're sending you spam email, we can track them down. I love how Vic is the only one that gets my jokes. Okay, we can hunt them down for you, man. Find them. Okay, if they're emailing you with threats or anything like that, if they're cheating online, we can trace their email address back to online dating websites and personal ads. We can do asset searches, locates, background checks, all kinds of stuff, all kinds of digital forensic stuff like that. Give us a call. You got a problem, go to emailrevealer.com. Give us a call. We'd love to help you out, okay?
Hey, Ed.
Yes.
Do you offer like bulk rates on any of your, things that you do, your services?
Well, sure. If it's a real deal, we can. You see, what happens is, like with the employment locates or asset searches, right? These are kind of big jobs. So a lot of people will go out there and they get into the judgment recovery business and say, well, listen, I bought 1,000 judgments, So I want to bargain on locating their assets and locating their employment. That's a dead end. I don't want to get involved in that. But other stuff like a bulk rate in employment screening, I taught a class on employment screening. Okay.
So like a big company, let's say a big company that hires a lot of people, they would need your services.
Yeah, like infinityhomeplans.com. Yes, you
That's
can hire,
right.
yes, my friend. You can hire me to screen out all your employees, or you do locates for you. We do all that kind of stuff. Locating people and background checks and all that basic stuff. We can do for you. Around holidays.
Because Ed, I don't want to hire any serial killers. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Seriously?
Well, yeah, I don't.
No,
you never know.
Mike doesn't want to hire serial killers. But at emailrevealer.com, if you're a serial killer, we can use your service. Okay, I can put you to work.
I hear you.
Contact me. Okay, and someone's feedback.
That might have been mine.
Okay. All right, so real quick, let's read some ads real fast. We're going over the time here. You guys are messing up my whole game.
I'm sorry, Ed.
That's okay, man. That's
sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that's okay. That's okay. And we get a little more relaxed during the after show.
Did you already do Pacific West Bamboo? Because I have theirs memorized.
No, we did it, but we're going to do now the New World Mexican Women, who lately, I tell you, man, these women really impressed me. They put us in touch with this Reverend Edward Pinkley, who is facing 20 years in prison. Why is this man facing 20 years in prison? Because he stood up against a company-run town to fight for you, to fight for me, to fight for the people in that town, for their civil rights, for their economic justice, for their social justice. He's out there. He's a reverend. He's fighting for us, and he needs our help, okay? He's going to be on the show next week. He's going to tell us all about his situation there. But everyone knows his story. Even the women in Mexico know this guy's being railroaded. You don't see it on TV. You don't see Al Sharpton talking about it. You don't see Jesse Jackson talking about it. You don't see this guy's fighting the NAACP. They're not even helping him. Okay? Now, obviously, no one's helping this guy. And we have to get our act together and help this guy out. And the New World Mexican Women who are supporting us put us in touch with this guy. They got their coffee table book. You just Google New World Mexican Women. You can buy their book for $19. And I'm asking you all to please buy their book for $19. It's a beautiful book. It's a coffee table book. You can read their letters to their men here in the United States, and you can learn how to make authentic Mexican jewelry. You can contact them on wholesale deals. Work out a deal with these women in Mexico. Buy their jewelry wholesale in bulk and sell it here in the United States from our website. You make a fortune. Now, essentially, Tammy, 352-239-8546. If you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is Young Living Essential Oils Independent Distributor. These 100% therapeutic grade oils help support the body's natural functions. You can click on her website posted on Essentially Tammy, T-A-M-I, to see the current deals and check out the benefits of oils such as frankincense, joy, valor, lemon, thieves, panaway, and many more. Email jocatami@yahoo.com or call 352-239-8546 for more information. Hey, Mike Gray, now you've used these oils, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you still squeaking?
Yeah, squeaking? What do you mean?
Because you use oil to stop a squeak, right?
Oh, yeah. A little corny, but okay.
A little corny.
No. You know what, Ed? I bought the citrus, and I bought the thieves and the frankincense. And the thieves is for the immune system. And what Tammy was telling me was thieves was used during the Black Plague, when the Black Plague was sweeping across Europe.
Really?
The gypsies weren't dying. And the priests, the priests said, hey, why aren't you guys dying? And they said, well, we're using this. And it's like cloves and it's a mixture of herbs. And cloves is one of them. And it smells like Christmas wreaths, So I put a drop of that and, rub my hands on it. And I put it in my green tea.
Yeah.
So I put the 2 drops of citrus in my green tea and 1 drop of thieves. And it cleans you out.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, ho, ho. And I even put a drop of frankincense in there. It smells great,
Do you really? Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Mike's all oiled up, man.
I'm all oiled up. Yeah.
You are, man. That's impressive.
Like
Yeah, it's real. They're really good, and it was started. There's a whole history of this guy who started it, and he was given a death sentence or something. He couldn't walk, and he started looking up oils and stuff, and he started making them, and he could walk again. Yeah, he's got a whole story. You know what? Tammy will be calling maybe next week, and tell you.
Okay. You want to call her right now? Let's call her right now.
Does anyone know how much Tammy's oils are?
Hey, that's a good question, Victoria. Promoter
Yes,
to the stars.
There's a starter kit that she sells, which is a great deal, but they're about $25-$30 for a little vial of oil, and they're concentrated, so just one drop. You know what I mean? You just put like one drop, one little tiny little drop, yeah, and it goes a long way because they're concentrated. So
$30, one drop, and the plague is defeated.
It's done.
The plague is done. Now,
thieves will keep the plague from killing you.
Do you want to survive the actual Walking Dead?
Yes.
And that's why it's called thieves, because the gypsies were, I guess they called them thieves.
Ah.
It's
Really?
like,
Because thieves is a worksheet I do in history class.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
really?
wait. We have a message here from the chat room that says thieves is being sucked up for Ebola cure.
Yes, and I bought some, and I have it.
I'm sure you did, Mike.
So I will not be dying of Ebola.
Mike,
I will not be bleeding everywhere out of my buttocks.
Well,
So, since you're talking to us, are we going to get Ebola?
I hope not. I don't think.
Did you wash your hands before you started typing?
Me?
Yes.
And I bought one of those. I have colloidal silver too. Just okay.
Just don't cough into the microphone.
Don't cough. Okay, we're going to take a little musical break. CJ Mars here, our beautiful producer, is going to let us take a break because we need a break. Because, we're all facing Ebola. Let's face it.
Ebola.
Okay.
Ebola.
No, really. We don't all have these oils that Mike Ray has. He's hoarding these oils and not sharing them.
Anybody could buy them, Ed. Come on now.
No, but Mike, you have them there. They're in your possession.
Mike is stealing all the oils.
I know. Mike. Yeah.
Vicky, I offered to send Ed free samples, and he said, I don't need them.
Vicky?
Yeah.
Vicky? Who's that?
Victoria.
It's my pet name.
Okay. Yeah, it's called you, Vicky.
Okay.
Some music? Oh, I love that song. Thank you. Hey, the great Woody Guthrie. Okay, bringing us back to the Opperman Report after show, brought to you by Audible.com, audibletrial.com, Opperman Report, live tonight on CJMarsRadio.com and 365 Live. And, one thing I want to bring up tonight is, real quick, is good old Christoph Scott Moses, our producer, who is out there and helps us out with all this kind of stuff like that. He's a real brother. He's an artist, a musician, and we've lost track of him. And we don't know what happened to him. He fell off the radar on Facebook. And so, Christoph, if you're out there and you hear this, we love you, brother. We really want you to, to just get in touch with us and everything's okay. So we're here tonight. We got our after show with Cindy Jean-Pierre and Francis, who is my super producer. She's known as Eulalie in the chat room, but that's her slave name, and she is now known as Muhammad Eulalie. We have Mike Gray, who is an oily guy. He's got all this oil going down there. Okay. And we have Victoria Opperman, who is not willing to be addressed as Vic or Vicky.
She put me in my place, Ed.
That's right. Now, my kid, listen, I ain't worried about my kid, man. She got balls. We got Christian Wallace, who has all his top secret guests coming up here. He's not allowed to talk about them.
Yep.
Who's coming up on his show?
But you know what? Maybe we will, because we all agree that was sort of interesting with Hughes, because it can go in every, all kinds of directions.
Okay.
Well, you don't want to give away too much because you want to do the show.
I won't talk about the.
He's afraid I'm gonna steal his guest, man. Let's
No,
get this out in the open, man. This guy's afraid I'm gonna steal his guest.
That's so funny you said that because they would actually probably fit more the format of yours in a way. So it might be.
So
you never know.
What do they say happened to Hughes then if he didn't go to the Bahamas or Jamaica and have needles stuck in his arm?
That guy, okay, the old man that everyone, because they can prove it by this. He was still making business deals, and he was flying planes in England, and in one day he was supposed to be, sequestered in some room with 9-inch nails and broken needles and totally out of his mind. But then other people had flown with him and they were like, oh, this guy's cool, and he's got all of his wits about him, and he couldn't have been in two places at once, so he had a double. And that guy was a reclusive kind of a guy. And when they buried that guy, he said, because the wife that he married afterwards, she said, she really didn't know. What he did was he had his lenses in his eyes changed, and he, changed his hair. He was 6'4". He was he's a big guy, and he had the burns from the XF-11 crash. And when the doctors saw this other guy, they were like, this is Howard Hughes? And, he was so maltreated. Well, what happened was when he was watching his own funeral on TV or somewhere, and he said, they better bury him fast, and then, or they'll figure it out. And then he said, you really know who your friends are when, you fake your own death. And, of all the people that showed up, 24 were relatives that he never, really knew, because I guess they were coming after the will. And one was a CIA agent.
Ah.
Yeah. So he went on to live, and then he was notorious for disappearing at times after that whole thing, and also in his regular life. He went and he did what was similar to this. Another guy that I've met and I want to get on is the Frank Abagnale, the guy that
Sure. Okay.
Oh, that'd be a great guest, man.
Yeah, and Leonardo DiCaprio played both people. Well, Hughes would do stuff like that. He'd go and work for an airlines, and here he was, this real famous guy, and then
as a baggage agent, yeah.
Yeah. So he just did stuff like that. He'd disappear, and he was eccentric. But I think what he was doing was he was maybe spying on the other. I think it was a combination. That he was eccentric and he was kind of spying on the other airlines just to see the quality of the service they provided and how they operated.
But if he had a double like that, why would they abuse him and have needles broken off in his arm and have him emaciated?
That's a good question, and
why would they mistreat him like that?
I think the guy was. He had some serious mental issues, and he might have, a lot of it was sort of self-abuse, but at the same time, I don't think it's excusable to say that, if he was being treated at all, that anybody should have been treated like that. So to some extent, they bore some responsibility for the condition that older guy was in. And, I think there was 6 broken needles. His collarbone was sticking out.
Well, the thing is, once you got a double, right, you got a double. He looks like the guy you want to be a double for. Now, if that double is a drug addict, if he's a drug addict, it's better off to control him, first of all.
Right.
So you got that whole level. But if that double turns out to be going crazy, now you got a crazy double. Okay, fine. Now the original guy's crazy too. You can go down that road with the guy because you got him,
Right.
And a lot of people are falling for it.
And they said one of the reasons why it would have been good for him to have people even, to think that he was crazy was because they thought that if they came after him for lawsuits, they would, because people were suing him left and right. When you have a certain amount of money, people just, file.
So did he maintain control of the companies after he faked his death?
He kept making executive decisions. A lot of people thought, I think, that he had Noah Dietrich at the beginning, and then he changed over his staff, and a lot of people thought, oh well, they must have been making the decisions for him. But as far as I know, he had a satellite phone, and he would still make like CEO type decisions. He was still in charge, and he was a shrewd kind of a business guy. But he did have times when he would buy buildings and things. He was kind of reckless with his money, but it
Yeah.
but he also made he did eventually in the movie they fight to keep TWA. I think he actually did eventually cash in the TWA stock, but he turned a really good profit on it. And he was an industrialist, and just I mean, all he had
He
his
was
hand
into everything, though, right? I mean, he was into
literally.
Yeah.
building ships. He built one of the biggest ships in the world that the CIA used it to go down and raise a Soviet sub that had nuclear missiles. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then one of the missiles fell out of the chute, and they thought it was going to detonate.
right. And
Yeah.
also, he had a lot of contracts with, with the government and with with because not only was it the XF-11, but as things advanced, he got all those contracts. So I think they kind of needed to, you know, uh, keep in touch with him. And if you find out where he ends up going after he goes off the map and the double is in his place, the places that he goes, it was actually he lived kind of a meager sort of an existence. He kind of went like when he married his new wife, they went and they lived on a farm for a little while, and they took care of these horses. They bought a really small place and they stayed there for like 11 years. Then they went and they lived in a trailer, and he didn't live like this real opulent lifestyle afterwards. It's really a crazy story because here he was with all this money, and when he's young, he's dating movie stars and he's doing all these amazing things, and he's world famous and he's breaking records, flying around the world, and then he just sort of gets real low key. And when neighbors would come to visit, he'd go run off into like the woods, he'd hide. And then he'd disappear for a while, and he'd say that he fell out of a tree and was knocked unconscious because, like I said, for a while the new wife didn't know that he was who he said he was. He had an alias, and then
It was like in Arkansas, right?
it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I think it was Alabama or
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
yeah. It was somewhere where you'd never find him, and it was
So when did he eventually die?
So he didn't die until I think he was born in 1902, and he lived all the way into the 89 or 90. He lived all the way. He lived a lot longer than a lot of people thought.
Man, you would imagine somebody would have talked, though, right?
Well, they didn't care. The other thing with this that's interesting too is they don't care that this information is coming out now because it doesn't really. It's not like with the JFK assassination where they keep pushing the information back because some of those people are still around and they could potentially arrest them. His stuff, it wasn't. I mean, the Watergate thing, yeah, there was an involvement there, but there was nothing really to really keep that secret. And also, I don't think they think people will really believe it, but they don't care if they do either. So it's a unique kind of a ending to this real fascinating life. And like I said, I don't think there'll ever be a character like that in in American history again because of all the advancements that were being made when he was young. The film industry was starting to really boom and take off, and he was at the forefront of that. And the same with aviation. And he was like he was living out like the male fantasy. Dating movie stars, making movies, being, the richest guy in the world. And, he had notoriety. And if you want fame and notoriety.
But his father started a tool works, right? Like his father had all these patents on drills.
Yeah, there was a drill company.
Yeah, so he was already
partner.
He started rich, and he just parlayed that into more.
Right, but he did invent a lot of things. And like I said, like the hospital bed that we have today that, that can... you can lift up the back, and before it was like just a
It's just a flat one, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So a lot of things that people probably wouldn't associate with him. He was like the bra. I mean, imagine of all the things too. And
they said that movie Hell's Angels cost like $3 million back in the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
which was like unheard of.
And all the fanfare and the the hype for it, at the beginning with all the people in the
Right.
streets and those flash bulbs and things. They really portray that well in the DiCaprio version of the movie. It really was a huge production and stuff. So he was he lived life loud. He really he did, and then he test flew his own planes, and he crashed more than what they showed. I wouldn't have flown with him because he was crashing left and right. I think he was in at least 3 plane crashes, and one of them almost killed him. So, and then his wife asked him, she said, well, why did you, he wouldn't talk about the XF-11, but she said, why did you test fly the Spruce Goose, the big one, the Hercules? And he said, because they told me it wouldn't fly. It was like his pride and everything, and they were calling him a war profiteer. And he was like, no, I lost money. I put my own money into that. And he's like, and if it doesn't fly, I'll leave the country. That part in the movie, you can go back and watch those hearings.
Oh yeah, that's
Really said that.
verbatim.
It's exactly what he said, verbatim. Yep. So he had some integrity when it came to that.
So what do you think then about the connections to Hughes and the Watergate?
That's part of they're doing another book, and they touch on that in the first one, but he was all over that. And like I said, they said it was he was mad at Nixon, and because he thought Nixon was going to be different, and he kind of got pissed off at him, so he had an involvement there, and other things too. Big trials at the time. I got to go back and refresh my my memory on it, but there wasn't anything that he wasn't involved with.
Yeah.
And it's funny that he was actually running things and making decisions, pretty close to the end of his life. They even had barrels, how he had clothes and stuff, like people would buy him the clothes and everything. Those barrels are still there at the old place that he last lived in, and they're suits that are folded in these like containers, and they're his size and everything. They're trying to get DNA so that they can. And it's so funny because here's this famous guy, and what ended up happening to him was they cremated him, and the last wife, she kept his ashes in like a plastic bag, and it just said Nick's. His alias was Nick's ashes, and she was going to scatter all of them. And then the guy that was writing the book said, "Wait, no, let me keep some of them." So here was this icon, and this old lady in a rest home in, I think it was Florida, had his ashes in a little plastic bag and marked under someone else's name, and was just like yeah, that's Howard Hughes' ashes, and then just scattered them, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's no giant mausoleum or anything like that, like a lot of these guys have.
Well, people wondered what about the guy that got buried, because they said if this book comes out and then people want to see, and find out who it really was that's buried there. And they said, maybe they dug that body up, and they don't. There might not be anyone there, but that's interesting too. I'm curious, to ask about that.
There should be a museum to him,
Yeah, well,
in Vegas, Vegas Museum. Yeah, you think?
Oh, there is.
No, there should be.
If you see certain like PBS type programs, he has a lot of like charitable foundations, and he'll say sponsored by.
Yeah.
So he set up a lot of things, but his will, that was a big deal, and where his money ended up going was a whole story. And the last wife, she didn't see any of it.
Hey, Vic, you have any questions? Vic?
She doesn't want to be called Vic.
Oh, Victoria?
Maria.
Opperman. See that? She just kind of drifts out on me.
Did you fall asleep?
I'm sorry, I was trying to get the Skype to work.
Oh, okay.
Aw.
So what do you think? Do you know who Howard Hughes was?
No, I don't. But what Leonardo DiCaprio movies were you guys talking about?
The Howard Hughes movie. It's called The Aviator.
It's called what?
The Aviator.
Okay, then I have no idea.
You never saw that one, huh?
Nope.
See
Okay.
it. See the movie. It's really cool. That's what I mean by this next generation, and I mean this just I'm not in a disrespectful way. He really won't resonate with them so much. They'll see like that movie and everything, and he's kind of like he's really iconic. So check it out, and I'd love to hear Victoria's opinion of it.
So, Vic, you know that other movie, right, about Frank Abagnale
Yeah.
with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Catch Me If You
What?
Can.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
it-
that movie's great.
It's a real guy. And
And
Chris Stockton. Yeah, Chris Wall Stockton.
he did way more stuff than he did.
Right.
There's more stuff in
Yeah.
the book, yeah.
Yeah, and his dad actually, he keeps meeting him throughout the course of the movie. He
Mhm.
never did see his dad again, and they asked him at the end of the, they asked him when he was giving a lecture for my aunt's company, and this was right before the movie was coming out, and she introduced me to him. I didn't know who he was, and then they gave me the book, and he's very charismatic. He looks older than he did for his age. That's why he was able to pull off a lot of the things that he did. He was a stockbroker. He was
Yeah.
driving. He had assistants. He was living in a penthouse of this one building. He was, he was like a chameleon. He did practice medicine. He did practice law,
Right.
and he was actually a good financial advisor. But what happened was that when they asked him at the end, the way he wraps up the speech, you can find it on YouTube, I think. He said, "Why'd you do it?" And he said, "Because my father, they were getting a divorce, and
Yeah.
I really loved my dad. My dad would always come in, and every night he'd say, I love you guys." And when they asked me, to choose of who to live with, he wanted to. He just ran away because he didn't want to make the decision, and that's what set into motion all that. And in this day and age, it's sort of commonplace to have kind of like, divorces become, a lot more regular. And for him, it put it into a perspective in that day and age that's how devastated that he was, that, he went and did all the things that he did.
Yeah.
The best scene in that movie is when he, with the escort,
Mhm.
and he goes,
That's-
"I have a
that-
check here for like $1,500," and she goes,
Yep.
"Oh, sign it over to me," and he goes, "No, it's $1,500 for 1,000," and she gives him
Oh, no.
$400, and he gives her a bump check.
Mhm. That was one of the true. Yeah, that was one of the true story. That was one of the true things that happened.
So now, Chris, you going to have this guy on as a guest?
You
Frank,
have to.
I should. I really should, because, like I said, his real life story is so much more. He did so many more things. I should. I'm gonna try to.
Now, I really love Leonardo DiCaprio. Did he work with Leonardo DiCaprio for this movie?
Yeah, he got
It
paid
was
on that
right-
movie.
Yeah, it was right before, and he was talking about it, and I don't think Leo had done Titanic, so I wasn't the biggest fan. So when he mentioned it, he said something about Steven Spielberg, and everybody, people always talk about. I've met a lot of writers, and they say, "Oh, they're making my movie. They're making my movie," and 10 years later, they haven't yet. Or
Yeah.
let's just loan out the rights to my book, and it's coming out next year. And so I've heard a lot of people say that before. My cousin's a writer too, and it's the same thing with her. So I sort of was like, okay, sure. But he was charismatic, and I was like, it would make a good movie. But this was literally, I think, 6 months before the movie came out. So he was, and then when I saw the movie, I was like, oh wow, wow! I can't, this is an interesting guy. He was going around to, different businesses, where they want to build confidence. They have like a speaker come, and he does like, comedians do it. All different people go, and it's like Tony Robbins type thing.
Right,
They tell
motivational
their
speaker.
story, and then it builds up. Yeah, it's to motivate the workers and things. He was doing that for a while.
And it's funny, the guy from what is it? Hey Dad, what's that movie Leonardo DiCaprio just recently did?
Oh, the one, yeah, the Wall
Wolf of
Street
Wall
guy?
Street.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street, yeah.
Yeah. He ended up being
Jordan.
a motivational speaker too. In the end of that movie.
That's what I should do.
And Bo Dietl's in that movie.
Yeah, I know Bo Dietl's in there. Yeah. And that's when I was hanging out with Bo, by the way, during that time period in real life when that was going on.
Did you see Bad Lieutenant?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's him.
He did all that? That guy's crazy.
Well, wait a second. Yeah, you know what, man? I think all those stories are real. The nun story, the bookie stuff, all that's real. And Bo's a wild guy, man. You know, and I'll tell you an interesting thing about that movie is the scene where Harvey Keitel is there, and we don't want to go into too much detail, but the scene with the baby with the car where he pulls over the car with the two girls in the car.
Two girls, yeah.
In real life, that's Harvey Keitel's babysitter, and she had never worked in a movie before that. That was her first scene, and it was all ad-libbed. They had no idea what was going to happen, what he was going to say, and that girl was his babysitter that he knew in real life.
Why would he do that to her?
Harvey Keitel's a weird guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff out there about him. Hey, Vic, you want to read the commercials? How do I get them to you?
I have the old commercials. I can just read those off.
Okay, read what you got. You don't have the essentially Tammy?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't even have the new Pacific West Bamboo one.
Her last name is Joka. If you want to.
Joka.
Yeah, I mean you could say it however you want, but it's Joka. Yeah.
Okay, Vic, read what you got, and then I just put something in the chat box there.
Okay, I'm gonna read it from the email, and if I'm missing anything, you just say it, okay?
Okay.
Pacific West Bamboo, 503-839-8126. You
What's
can
the
email
number?
them.
Wait, what's the number?
You're going to repeat it.
You're making a mess out of this. It's 503-839-8126.
Uh-huh.
Not 503. 503-839-8126.
You can email them at demroots@oppermail.com. You can also go to their Facebook page, www.pacificwestbamboo. Pacific West Bamboo, #1 source for timber construction and craft-grade bamboo poles, plants, and products. They specialize in eco-friendly reclaimed wood products for the home and garden. They're located in Portland, Oregon, servicing the Northwest for over 10 years. They can be reached at 503-839-8126. Yet again, their Facebook page is Pacific West Bamboo, and their email is at demroots@oppermail.com. They can and do ship nationwide. You can support the Opperman Report with a PayPal donation, oppermanreport@gmail.com, or by buying my dad's book, How to Succeed as a Private Investigator, or by using my dad's services, www.emailrevealer.com. You can also help our family situations, www.gofundme.com. Infinity Home Plans and Design Services, your source for 3D and 2D architectural services. They offer a multitude of products including stock home plans, 2D digital drawing sets, 3D models, renderings, and more. www.infinityhomeplans.com.
Wait, Mike, what's that other thing you're selling now?
Oh, the top-notch business starter kit for anyone who wants to start a drafting and design business.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
www.infinityhomeplans.com.
And Mike, how do we call if you want to make prank phone calls?
It's please no prank phone calls.
Just a couple.
That's
just a couple.
That's 321-437-5655.
Okay.
Thank you, Ed.
Call now.
Hey, Ed, what's your home number?
Not today.
All right. 702-545-7. That's your number, Vic. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Say that again. What is it?
702-545.
No.
That's my number.
My daughter Victoria has a show debuting called.
Oh, so are you taking over the ads now?
Well, somebody has to get this thing moving. I got to go to bed. I've not eaten since 4 o'clock. My daughter Victoria has a show on cjmarsradio.com and shakeandwakeradio.com. It's at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and a lot of big guests coming up.
Yeah. Emailrevealer.com, online infidelity investigation, studies indicate up to 30% of people using online dating services are married and cheating on their partner.
My God, that means almost everybody that's in a relationship is cheating.
Yeah! This search is for people that have noticed signs of cheating and suspect their partner is cheating online with a secret social networking site like MySpace.
Wait a second. You're trying to tell me that people are online secretly cheating on their spouse?
MySpace.com.
Well, all we need to do is, I bet if that person were to provide me with an email address of the suspected cheater, that we can search thousands of online personal ad websites, and if that email is registered on any internet dating website, we can provide you with the link to that website.
Well, wait, Dad.
Yes.
Does this investigation include dating websites?
Yes!
Swinger sites?
Yes!
Swinger
Fetish
sites.
Yes!
Social networks?
It does!
Emailrevealer.com, or you can call 800-448-0772.
Or 0772. And
Yeah.
you can advertise here or promote your website or business by contacting oppermanreport@gmail.com. If you want to hear your ad read on here with this kind of enthusiasm,
Uh-huh.
my God.
Yeah.
It's
We
worth
are
thousands
really
of dollars.
enthusiastic.
Yeah, I know.
Especially about New World Mexican women.
These sponsors are getting away with murder. Let's get into that. Okay.
Oh!
How many times we read these ads a week, man? 7 times a week, 3 times a show. For nothing. We got peanuts for this, man.
Definitely get the money's worth.
These sponsors, man, need to get their act together, man. Go out and hit a 7-Eleven and give us that money to pay for these ads.
Mm-hmm. Are we gonna go to New World Mexican women?
No, we're not.
Why not?
No, help us. No, I like out of all the sponsors, my favorite are the heckling New World Mexican women.
Really? Because my favorite is Amanda from Pacific West Bamboo.
And I love Mike Ray too. But the thing is,
Thank you, Ed.
these New World Mexican women, man, who heckle me daily because I can't read the ad properly, I can't pronounce their state properly.
Well, honestly, I just skip their state because I don't even want to try.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Okay?
Yeah, we're done with your state.
No, we love the New World Mexican women.
No, we do. Yeah.
We do. So go ahead, Vic.
I'm on air.
Oh.
I'm on air. Oh. Yeah.
Our special sponsor is a group of village women in Mexico. In fact, they are from a small town in the south of Mexico. These women have loved ones in the United States, living and working as illegal migrants. But here's a surprising thing. These women all beg and plead, trying to convince their husbands, brothers, sons, fathers, uncles to return, to come back to Mexico.
So wait, Dad,
Yes.
are you saying that this coffee table book not only has those letters, but also has a thing about, DIYs and how to make their own jewelry?
Yes.
So this book is the best coffee book in the whole world.
It's the best coffee book that comes out of southern Mexico
Uh-huh.
to the United States. No, listen, we got the book. We love the book.
We do love the book.
Ed, did you know that Mexico has 3 times the resources that the United States does?
No, I did not know that, Mike.
It is
Ray.
a country rich in resources.
Really?
Rich in gold, silver, oil. Oh yeah. There shouldn't be any poverty in Mexico.
Gold.
Gold, Ed.
Gold.
Gold.
The same gold they use to make your jewelry.
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you're looking for essential oils, stop by and check out Essentially Tammy on Facebook. She is Young Living Essential Oils independent distributor.
Woohoo!
Now, these 100% therapeutic grade oils help support the body's natural functions. You can imagine what those are. You can click on their website.
Oh, come on now.
Post it on Essentially Tammy to see the current deals and check out the benefits of oils such as frankincense, joy, valor, lemon, thieves, Hanaway, and many more. Email Jacotami, JOCATAMI @yahoo.com, or call 352-239-8546, 352-239-8456 for more information. That is all of our commercials for tonight. We're getting down to the last 10 minutes.
Hey, Ed, on that audible.com,
Yeah.
well, can you get any book from them?
You can get, when you sign up with the offer code, the Opera Report, you get one free audiobook.
Wow,
Free.
so if I wanted to get Ed's book, they'll put that on audio?
Well, it's probably not on audio because,
No, I will start reading the book right now.
Yeah.
Let's get started. I was born in the Bronx. Oh,
wait,
my goodness.
you totally skipped the part where you mentioned me.
Well, I had an unfortunate brush with the law.
Oh.
And then my daughter Victoria came along.
She set
I
you
want
straight.
a copy of Ed reading that audiobook so I can fall asleep to his melodious.
There you go, man. Well, everyone's asleep anyways. It's 8:49.
Ed, did you stash any of that ill-gotten booty? Is
No.
there somewhere? No buried treasure anywhere?
No, there's no buried treasure. There's no. There's nothing.
We can't save money. There's no hidden treasure.
I have nothing left.
Nope.
So we're down to the list. We got a really bad echo. Anybody who's echoing?
It's my...
It's you? Okay, good. There you go. So we got a really bad echo, and it's 8:50. So my wonderful guests here, we have Cindy Jump here, we have Ann Francis, we have Michael Gray, we have Victoria Opperman, who has the same sense of humor as me. We have Christian Wallace. Does anybody have anything they want to say to leave us off here?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How many people are listening right now? Do they know?
Well, it's hard to say, okay? We got a little chunk of people in the chat room. It's pretty good. We can't tell who's listening on phones, and we can't tell immediately how many people are listening on 365 Live. But we also have, when the Spreaker channel goes up, we have 10,000 listeners on Spreaker over 2 months. And then on YouTube, when the shows go up on YouTube, we get about 500 brand new listeners every single day.
Wow.
No, yeah. There's a good chunk of listeners out there. There's no doubt about that whatsoever.
Are pregnant women counted twice?
I'm sorry?
Are pregnant women counted as two people?
Oh.
Well, it depends, because...
Is the baby watching too? Is the baby clicking on the ads?
Because some babies are born deaf.
That's
They can't.
It's tragic.
No, there's a percentage, and you have to calculate all this in,
Right.
So that's where we are with that.
Don't forget Siamese twins.
Right. There's twins.
right.
There's iTunes. There's Android, iPad, and
We don't talk about androids.
a dozen more. So there's a bunch of people out there listening right now. It's everything we say. They hang on every word, and unfortunately, some of them, are deaf. And they can't, And so,
Is there a place they can get a transcript?
yes, what we're planning on doing is in the future is we're gonna have a sign language.
Like in the corner?
Right.
Please tell me you're kidding.
No, I'm working on all this. Working on engineers, YouTube, Spreaker, all this kind of stuff. Sign language people.
At the next
Like
level.
I know you listen to your show, like
Skywriting. No, we're
time,
working.
but I don't think anyone has time to listen to the show and write it down for these people.
No, don't worry about that because we're working on skywriters with light aircraft that will skywrite in the sky that anyone lying on the beach can look up at the sky and hear every word that comes out of our mouth. So the show is
Sky Cloud.
That's fantastic.
It's amazing. It's almost unbelievable.
It's almost like you just made it up.
It sounds right. You would think that someone would be making this stuff up.
But no.
No, we work on this 24 hours a day. There's no stopping us, man.
Who's the next week's guest?
Well, next week is the Reverend Edward Pinkney and this guy Derek, who has photographed the police from Minneapolis, and that's next week. Then we have coming up Jeffrey McDonald's wife. We have John Sinclair, by the way, coming up. You know who he is, right?
No, who's that?
White Panthers, Yippee. He was facing 20 years in prison for like a joint. you know, and John Lennon put on this whole big concert to get him out. And right, yeah, John Sinclair.
Oh, speaking of John Lennon, what about Maya Ping
May Pang, yeah.
May
Okay.
Pang, yeah.
Well, okay, that's one of the people we had who agreed to come on. Then, and what we suspect is that they tuned in one night and heard people threatening to commit suicide on the station.
Oh, yeah.
And, right, you know, there's a lot of bizarre stuff that went on.
We're not naming any names.
We're not going to name any names because we're not like that here.
I was in a Chinese opium den playing ping pong and ding dang.
Yeah. You know, but there's a lot of wacky stuff went on, you know, in the past that we're moving on from, you know, and it's unfortunate, but there's nothing we can do about that. And all those weird commercials and stuff, and I think that's a lot of what happened is a lot of people who agreed to come on tuned in when we weren't on and expecting like Court TV and HLN kind of show. And heard total craziness.
And they said, this is too radical even for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our share.
It happens.
It does.
But onward and upward.
There we go. We got 5 minutes left in the show. So who wants to plug anything they got going on?
I do.
Go ahead, Vic. My daughter. Go ahead. I know, Vic. You're the best.
Okay, so here at Teen Truth, we have some really, really big things coming up. We have, you know, the Bob Beers interview coming this Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on cjmarsradio.com. And soon we have this Taylor Swift live stream thing. And we're working really hard on this. We're trying to get Taylor to come on or make a statement or something. And you can help us out with that by reposting this picture I made for it. I'll put it up on Facebook and stuff, and if you could use the hashtags, or, you know, if you could make some kind of site for it, or, I don't know, like, go on her Instagram or something and comment about it. Like, anything you can do to help us to get Taylor to come on, do it. If you know anyone that's met Taylor, let me know. And, yeah, I guess we'll have more information about it later. But if you can repost that kind of stuff, it'd be great.
Are you going to ask her that she went to a party with one of the Kennedys and was making out with another guy?
Well, she did date one of the Kennedys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ask her about that.
Okay.
Just because.
That would have been awkward.
Yeah, like, that would be kind of awkward. Like, hey, you know, we got you on here just to ask you about how you kissed a Kennedy. But
if you stalk her on Twitter, do you think she'll eventually acquiesce and come on?
Well, what I think is that, honestly, we are doing a whole live stream of pure,
Swiftum?
You should ask all your listeners to barrage her Twitter with, hey, go on Teen Truth with Victoria Opperman.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal here.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole live stream is just going to be pure, what do you call it, like, advertisement for her album and pure endorsement. Yeah. So I have contacted, like, her management team and said, like, hey, you know, what can you do for us? You know, what can you do so this can get more out and you can sell more albums?
It'd be a win-win.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's very shrewd. It's very good.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Maybe you could get a kickback out of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. We'll have Mike Ray negotiate that deal for us.
Oh, I'm a good negotiator.
There you go.
He can give him some of the Ebola curing oils.
Okay, well, let's get into that.
That's thieves. Thieves.
Oh, thieves.
Yeah.
Gypsies, tramps, and thieves. Okay, here we go. We're getting to the end of our show. We got like 2 minutes left.
Well, I think you stated your case clearly, concisely. Well, not necessarily concisely, but you know, you cleared the air, and for everyone who didn't know, you know, now they know.
And Ed took the high road.
Definitely.
He did. Yes.
That's right. Yeah. And I'll be in Scotland before you.
Ed's a gentleman. Ed's a gentleman. I don't care what anybody says.
Honestly, like,
that's right.
The situations that, like, my dad and other people like Anne were dealing with, like, outside of the show from people from that station were ridiculous, you know? And no one should have to deal with this kind of stuff because with people like CJ Mars, you have none of these problems.
Mm-mm.
You know? And it's just the kind of thing where some people are professional and some people aren't.
Yeah, we're on like 15 stations, and we don't. There's no other problems on
Exactly.
any other station, not even close to
The
this,
only
man.
problems Ed has, and I have it too, is we get a ton of fan mail and love letters, and we can't respond to all of them.
I know, it's exhausting.
Right. So, I mean, bear with us, and you'll get a response eventually.
All right, I'll stop, guys. Come
No,
on.
no, it's not just Mike Gray. But all kidding aside, man, the mail situation. If you want to get a hold of me, please. If it's business related, Opperman Investigations at AOL.com at gmail.com. Opperman Investigations at gmail.com. If it's related to the show, it's Opperman Report at AOL at gmail.com. Because you don't want there's other people read the Opperman Report email address. You don't want to email me there with your private investigation stuff. And likewise the other way around, So please, guys, and also too, when you subscribe to YouTube, you don't go look for Ed Opperman. Look for Opperman Report because I have 2 channels. Okay, and the Ed Opperman channel doesn't get updated. Nothing gets updated over there. So a lot of people are subscribing over there like crazy. But the other one is the Opperman Report. That's where the shows go up. And that's about it. And also, too, there's some scuttlebutt in chat about the New World Mexican women. Yeah, I'm not worried about them at all, man. I know these women. I talk to them all the time. And I know about their side deals and stuff like that they're doing with their jewelry and their books and their videos and stuff like that. It's all, they're real. They have a book. It's on Lulu. They have a video. And they do wholesale deals, and so there's no doubt about that. No, it's not a shell company. No, I can guarantee you that. No, they have real products and they have real book, and these are women. Yeah,
They're craftsmen.
We wouldn't be endorsing someone who's, like doing fake things and stuff. It's a real book, and they do real jewelry, and they're really nice
that's
people.
all. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. If it's a big giant company, I tell you, they'd be sending me more. I can tell. Yeah, I think if it was a big giant company, I could, like a shell company. What you're telling me here in chat there, I think we would spot that. It's not like that kind of thing at all. Like, it's kind of a. And if it was a big giant shell company, they wouldn't be supporting Reverend Pinkney, and stuff like that as well.
Plus, if it was a big shell company, they would be paying us more than they are. So don't worry.
Yeah, right.
Like,
right. We're
not getting like huge payoffs,
We have a relationship with these women. Don't worry about that, okay? All right, so guys, we're ready to cut out the show tonight. It's been another great show. It's been since 4 o'clock. It's about 5 hours straight. We've been talking. It's not like we're tired and hungry. We're here to serve you. We love you all. And thank you very much. So Cindy, you can drop us out with some music. Thank you.